Welcome to the 60 Plus podcast.
I'm Janet.
And I'm Joe. Your ears are itchy? Is that what you just told me? What's going on?
I don't know. Is that like a psychic thing? Like, like when your palm itches, you're supposed to get money? Like what happens when you... I don't think it works that way, Joe.
Oh.
You can't make it.
To give a visual,
I don't understand.
We wear headphones while we're recording. And
I don't understand why they're itchy all of a sudden.
Okay.
You know what it is? It's winter. It's dry.
It is dry.
It's
very dry.
I think I've been showering too much. I don't know.
You've been showering too much? Like, how many showers do you take a day?
One.
Oh, well, that's not too much.
Okay, so let's move on.
I'm very distracted by you scratching your ears. What are we talking about today, Janet?
Well, today's a special episode because...
Very special episode of the 60 Plus podcast.
Yes, it is. Breaking news. Wait a minute, I got another itch.
Now my ears are itchy.
It's contagious. You know what's coming up, right?
Another itchy ear?
No, don't mention that. It's Valentine's Day coming up.
Valentine's Day is the day after tomorrow. If you're listening to this on Wednesday, which is February 12th.
Yeah.
Okay, that's when this episode drops.
Correct.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, Valentine's. So we're doing a special Valentine's episode.
Okay.
And we want to talk about finding love after 60, 70, 80, and beyond, potentially.
Okay.
Yeah, so finding love after 60. Of course, there are people who are still married, still in love. But what happens when you are on your own and you're maybe feeling like, oh, am I ever going to find someone? Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. So we're doing a special episode on people who have found love over 60 and ways in which you can find love over 60.
I thought you were going to break into the Love Boat theme song there for a second.
Love Boat.
No, I shouldn't have said anything.
What's the next line? Okay, so this is going to require...
Who sang the Love Boat theme song?
The Love Boat.
Who sang it?
I just said.
No. On the Love Boat, who sang it?
Why? Do you know this?
I do know this.
Oh, gosh.
Paul Williams. Remember
Paul Williams?
He was kind of a short guy, long blonde hair. He was big in the 70s.
Wow, Joe.
I'm pretty sure it was Paul Williams.
Wow, what a throwback here. Okay. So
tune into the 60 Plus podcast every week for
a little known
silly
facts.
Information like that.
Yeah. Now, we know that from previous podcasts that about, is it 50%? Roughly 50% of people over 60. Like, we did a whole thing on gray divorce, right?
Yes.
And this podcast is really about gray love.
Okay.
So we know that there's quite a high percentage of people in our age group are
single for some reason or another.
And we came across this stat that even though there's this growing population and participation in online dating, only 5% of single seniors in the U.S. are currently dating.
Okay, currently dating.
Currently dating. That doesn't mean
they could be looking. They could be looking,
right?
They could have just ended a relationship,
right?
They could say, "I'm done."
Right. Now, there may be reasons why. Exactly, to your point, you don't feel like dating. You're totally content being single. And I think that there are a significant number of older adults.
We had a Real Talk guest. Was it Nancy?
Nancy's like, yeah, I just want a house.
I just want a house and my couple of dogs.
I don't want anybody to bother me. But there was a study that was done at the University of Bath in the UK that found that the odds of a woman aged 65 to 74 finding love were 1 in 304.
All right, that's a little discouraging, isn't it?
Yeah. Suggesting that many in the age group may not prioritize seeking romantic relationships. So it's not that you can't find it. It's that you may not want to find it.
Or you may not want to go through what it takes to find it.
Yeah. Because they also found that many seniors still desire companionship. And in fact, as another survey found that 63% of individuals do not consider age to be a defining factor when seeking a partner, indicating openness to relationships regardless of age.
I don't think we're going to share personal stories here, but what do you think? Do you think that there's a time in your life when you're just done, like Nancy was with her house in New Hampshire and her 2 dogs, or
I don't know if it has anything to do with time, Joe.
how
I
so?
think it has to do with the person,
Hmm.
right? So there are still many individuals over 60 that are actively seeking romantic relationships.
Hmm.
And we know that there are means, and we'll talk about them, to do that.
Okay.
And you know what? I think the likelihood of finding love at our age is growing. There's been a lot of activity around gray love. There's some new shows about it, the
Well,
dating.
the Bachelorette or the Bachelor, wasn't there
Yeah,
like
like
the
the
grandfather?
the Silver Bachelor or
Yeah,
something like that. And then there's this documentary, The Age of Love
I
documentary.
saw the trailer for this. I couldn't find the movie streaming anywhere, but I
Yeah.
did see the trailer, and it's absolutely adorable.
It follows a group of 70 to 90-year-olds participating in speed dating.
They showed it in the trailer where people sitting down at a table, and they get a couple of minutes, and they're all taking notes about who they meet, and then they get sealed envelopes, and they all have to open the envelopes like who they matched up with.
Oh, wow,
And
fun.
yeah, it was very cute.
Yeah. And then there's a book, Gray Love Stories About Dating and New Relationships After 60.
Hmm.
And these are 42 essays from various individuals talking about their experiences of seeking love, both online and offline.
An interesting thing about that book.
Mm-hmm.
So a man and a woman edited the book.
Mm-hmm.
You said it's essays.
Essays, yeah.
It's a compilation.
Mm-hmm.
She was an English professor, and she had written other books, and they were kind of compilations. She would have people come in and write. And somewhere she met the other guy, the guy that helped her with the book, and they ended up being a couple. Yeah. Yeah, it
Really?
was very cute. I saw an interview with them.
Oh, that's our first story.
It is.
Ha-
And
And were they older?
oh yes. Oh, they were both in their 70s.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's lovely.
He had lost his wife a couple of years before,
Mm-hmm.
and it took him a little time to get over her passing. And then he said, I realized I just wanted to share my life with somebody.
Yeah.
And the professor asked him to join in editing the book,
Mm-hmm.
and they ended up being a couple. But this is interesting. They made a point. They said, "Oh, we have to tell you, we don't live together.
Right.
We're LAT,
Right. Living apart
living
together,
apart together," which
did
we
an
talked about.
episode
Yes,
on. Yeah. And that's a trend. That, I don't know, makes a lot of sense.
they were very cute, and him especially. He was very deferential to her in this interview.
Mm-hmm.
So you can find love editing a book.
You never know, right? So, and there's lots of stories like that. I know someone, I went to a wedding recently of a friend of mine who decided that she was going to do online dating. Now, I think she was in her late 50s when she decided to go online.
Hmm.
And the first guy that she chose to reach out to, she ended up seeing. And then the pandemic hit. It was kind of difficult, right? It was hard to just go on these like various dates, right? You had to they decided to like pandemic together, that they liked each other enough that they were going to be in their little bubble. And I went to their wedding a year or so ago,
I
and they were
remember you going to this wedding.
over 60 getting married. So that was a nice story.
It was the first person she met online.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. Because she was dragging her feet, and her girlfriend said to her, "Oh, just pick one. Just pick one.
They're all the same. Just pick one.
Just do it." Because I think there is that fear, and you can find like many excuses and reasons to not take a chance. But I've said many times, I would rather have a wounded heart than a closed one.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you take a chance. If it doesn't work out, sure, yeah, maybe it's gonna hurt for a little bit, whatever. But you don't know. And sometimes you get lucky.
I had a relative, she was in her 80s.
Mhm.
She had been widowed for, oh, a good number of years, and she was a singer. That's what she did for a living when she was younger.
Wow.
She had this small group that they would play at, like, local restaurants and whatnot, and she would sing,
Mhm.
and, they actually had quite a following. But she met a gentleman friend that she had. He was a piano player, and he subbed in for somebody one time,
Mhm.
and, they met at the restaurant where they were playing, and they ended up just I don't know what their relationship actually was, but
And you
they
didn't need to know.
no, no, but they did, they'd go out to dinner together, they'd go
Mhm.
over each other's houses, and they
Mhm.
spent a lot of time together.
Yeah. Well,
And she
it
was in
was
her 80s.
yeah. I know. I've heard of a story recently too, similar where
Her female friend had passed away,
right.
and she swooped in and stole
Well,
that woman's
but
man.
it wasn't really like that, right? It
No,
was
no.
I mean, if you think about it, it kind of makes sense, right? You have this mutual, the woman who passed away, her very good friend and her very good husband, she loved both of them, right? Like that happens. And
So she killed her friend
no,
and
stop, Joe. No.
no.
Naughty. Bad
Okay.
Joe.
Yes, bad Joe. Bad Joe. But I think it's hard for people as they get older to, first of all, be willing to say, I'm going to go out and I'm putting myself on the market.
Yeah, it is. It's a huge hump you got to get over.
The trailer for the movie that we just talked about,
Yeah.
one of the guys was getting ready for his date. And it was very cute. He's getting ready for his date and he's getting all dressed up. And he's like, I haven't had a date in 50 years.
I know, that's right. I mean, when you think about it, right? It's like, wait a minute, I'm gonna have a boyfriend now? Like, what are the rules? This
How,
is
so I actually have some thoughts about the phraseology.
Mhm.
Boyfriend and girlfriend just
Yeah.
don't seem to fit when you're in your 60s or 70s or 80s. I don't think it.
I
I
know,
don't.
but what are you supposed to say? You don't want to say partner because that's
No,
that's
that's.
that's a sense of seriousness, right? Or a little
I can
beyond.
just say my friend.
Yeah, but what if you're more than friends?
I think there should be some additional language that we can come up with. Like,
Well, I think this is the podcast to do it on.
so
We
do
need
you
to
have any
have
suggestions?
write-ins. Yeah, we need to have write-ins.
So leave a
Yeah.
comment if you can come up with a
My boo.
boo.
Yeah. That's like rap talk.
I thought it was Bay. What's Bay? BAE.
That's yeah, I think that's something too. Yeah, we're gonna have to come up with some 60 plus lingo for dating, moving into a little bit more than just casual. Well,
Bay means a person's boyfriend or girlfriend.
okay. And what's boo?
I don't know.
Something I just well
I
then
think you
let's
made it up.
well that's good. That's it then. I'm gonna call here's my boo. So yeah, so there's lots of stories.
According to dictionary.com, it's said suddenly to surprise someone.
No, that's not the right. You have to go to the Urban
Oh, you
Dictionary.
never know what you're going to find in the Urban Dictionary.
Yes, yes. So there's lots of really great stories that we came across. This was Finding Love at 72 after two challenging marriages and a period of loneliness. A woman met the love of her life at 72. The unexpected relationship brought newfound joy and vitality into her life, demonstrating that it's never too late to find true love. Hey, there's maybe you saved the best for last.
What's that?
Think about it. Now, at our age, we know ourselves really well.
Do we? I'm joking, of course, yes.
And we also hopefully have a grip on our pluses, our minuses, our idiosyncrasies, our likes, our dislikes, our how we want to spend the rest of our years. I mean, there's so many the wisdom, the experience. There's actually so many good things that you bring into a relationship in your elder years.
I think in some respects, it's also simpler in this regard. You're not looking for someone to start a family with. You're
Right.
not looking for someone early in a career to grow your careers and
Yeah. You're
um,
hopefully not needing somebody for financial
hopefully.
support.
in some ways, it's just about the companionship and
And enjoying each other's company
exactly, exactly.
and enjoying these last, our golden
Oh,
years.
don't say that. Don't say that.
Well,
According to Urban Dictionary, boo means someone you love.
there you go.
Okay.
See?
Or someone who is a lifetime best friend.
There you go.
Okay.
So boo or bay.
So how can people that are 60 plus find love?
Well,
This is not the best time to be like going on a first date, by the way,
why?
because Valentine's Day is Friday. You don't want, you don't want your first date to be on Valentine's Day.
Oh,
No, no, sorry.
why?
It's like your first date and your date tells you it's their birthday. You don't know. It's just awkward and uncomfortable.
Well, what if you go out with friends and you do like the Galentine thing and you meet somebody
What's
when you're out?
Galentine?
When you go out with your girlfriends.
Well, that's
Galentine.
oh, I didn't know. I never heard that expression.
Yes, you do. We talked about this last year.
You think I remember something that you said last
We
year?
couldn't even remember what our last episode was about.
We were talking. We couldn't remember what last week's
I
episode
was
was
like,
about.
so what'd you guys do last week? We're like,
Don't know.
Joe, what did we do last week? You're like,
Yeah.
I'm like, uh-oh.
All right. So no, that's my advice. Don't make your first date on or about Valentine's Day.
All right.
It's just awkward and uncomfortable, and you don't know what to do.
Well, I think the first rule is you have to go in with a positive
I
mindset.
agree.
You can't be like going online being like, oh, why am I doing this? I'm never going to meet anybody. Or being like, oh, I'll start going out when I lose 5 pounds. Don't throw up barriers, go with especially if you're in a good place and you feeling good about yourself, that's the time to go for it. Just get out there. If you want, go online. If you want, join a new group, take up a new hobby
Like mahjong,
or pickleball.
not pickleball.
I mean, it can change your life, right?
But
You
you have to go
never
into it.
know.
I would suggest that you recruit a friend to nudge you along,
Mm,
because there'll be times when you're just like, oh, I really don't want to go online. I really don't want to go to,
right.
the car show or whatever it is that the stamp collecting club meeting or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
It's finding a love buddy.
You need you need a wingman,
Yeah.
a wingman.
Yeah. And they don't have to be single too.
No,
No, in fact, it might be better if they're not.
right, because their spouse may have a friend for you.
Exactly. That's the
Yeah.
other thing. Don't be afraid to tell other people, like, hey, it would be really nice to meet somebody. It's like looking for a job, right?
Sure.
You tell people that you're looking for a
We
job.
should do an episode about looking for a job.
I did that last week.
Oh,
Joe.
I forgot. Maintain a positive outlook is key, though. It
Yeah,
really
it
is.
definitely is.
Because like looking for a job, it can be discouraging at times.
So you got to be optimistic. You have to have a little bit of a plan, I think. I remember one time, now, I don't know if she was quite 60, but I had this friend who literally was like, I am going to have a date every single night of the week. And I'm just going to go on all these, like, I'm going to say yes to every single match. And I'm just going to tear through them. And yeah, I was just like,
This sounds kind of mercenary to
I'm
me.
like, this sounds like a nightmare to me.
Yeah. But if it works for her,
But it works for
great.
her.
Okay,
I
great.
think actually she's married now too. She,
Is
had
she still
like,
dating every single night?
No, I think she ended up like with 3 guys that she was kind of dating pretty regularly. And then
Okay.
she decided on the one.
Did she have like
And-
an auction?
The other 2 dropped away, and she was like, I really like this guy. And then she ended up marrying him.
Okay. Do you think that people find love when they're looking or when they stop
Well,
looking?
that's the old cliche, right? It'll happen when you least expect it.
Which accent was that?
I'm not sure. But I don't know. Who knows? The universe works in mysterious ways. That's all I'm going to say.
We'll pause for a little bit there so people can ponder
There's
that.
a pregnant pause.
Do you have plans for Valentine's Day? I'm
Mhm.
not asking you, like, I'm not
Oh,
it
no,
wasn't
I didn't
it
think we
wasn't,
had
"So,
that kind of
Janet, what are you doing for
relationship.
Valentine's Day?" It I'm just curious. I have tentative plans myself.
Oh, yeah, I always have tentative plans.
Okay. It doesn't have to be a big thing. For many, many, many years, I've refused to, like, go out to dinner on Valentine's Day.
Why? Because it's
Oh,
crowded?
it's crowded, there's a limited menu, they just wanna turn the tables,
Well, it's
so
like going out for New Year's Eve, right?
it depends on what you do for New Year's Eve.
Right.
That can be different, but
Well, I mean, you don't wanna be, like, in it, like, in the crowds and doing something, like, a little bit unusual is fun.
sure, sure. But I think Valentine's Day is a lot of people kind of eschew Valentine's Day, and they say, "Oh, it's so commercial." It doesn't have to be. It can
Mm,
just be a day that people who love each other or like each other or are companions to each other can just make a little effort for their friend, their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their friend, their
their
boo,
boo, their
their
bae,
bae.
or even just friendship,
Sure.
just like, that's that Galentine's thing, you're just like,
There's no male equivalent of Galentine's Day. I'm sorry.
is it Malentine?
Well, okay, that means like some kind of ill intent,
Broentine?
bro. No, I don't see that happening. I'm sorry, I just don't.
You
Uh,
don't? You're not gonna give little hearts to your
my bros.
bros? Will you be my Broentine?
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I have some very good friends, and I want to keep them. It's just a little thing that for people that care about each other, can share a little bit, and
Quality time.
yeah, exactly. That's it.
Yeah,
All right.
that's one of my love languages.
Well, okay, I won't say it.
I know what you're gonna say. I am fluent in all love languages.
See, I don't have to say it. Janet will say it for me.
In such a nice voice too.
Valentine's Day is it
Hey,
was
boo boo.
originally the feast of Saint Valentine,
Mm-hmm.
and it started as a Christian feast day honoring a martyr named Valentine, and
Mm.
through later folk traditions has become a significant cultural, religious, and commercial celebration of romance.
The love boat.
All right, so I wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. Lots of love to all our listeners.
And that's it for this week's episode of the 60 Plus Podcast. I'm Joe.
I'm Janet. Bye.